dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed.
Rosa Parks was born on a small farm in Alabama on February 4, 1913. Growing up African American, Rosa soon learned that some people in the South hated all people who had dark skin.
This scene takes place in the childhood home of young Rosa Parks in 1913.
Mama, why is there commotion outside? And why is Grandpa holding onto his shotgun so tightly? I'm really concerned.
That's the Ku Klux Klan, Rosa. They're riding around tonight, and it's not safe for African American people when they are out. Grandpa is ready to protect us, though. Try not to worry.
Why do they hate us so much? What did we do?
I don't know, honey. It's just the way things are.
That answer bothered Rosa as she grew up experiencing more and more discrimination just based on the color of her skin. It made her sad and angry. She met and married a man named Raymond Parks who shared in her frustration. Together they dreamed of making changes in their world. They became active in the NAACP, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. While they still held their daytime jobs, Rosa became a skilled local seamstress while Raymond continued his work as an activist. Rosa didn't know it then, but she would soon do a simple act that would change history.
This scene takes place on a city bus in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955.
One day, after a particularly long day at work, Rosa wearily climbed the steps of her local bus and was greeted by a grumpy bus driver.
Hurry up and move to the back of the bus. Let's go.
Well, at least there's a seat back there. At that time, the law stated that African Americans had to sit in the back of the bus. In addition, if a white person did not have a seat, the African American would be asked to give up theirs, even if it was in the back of the bus.
Hey, we have some white men with our seats. You in the back, stand up and make room.
3 other African Americans sitting in the back near Rosa stood up. But Rosa was tired from working all day. But more importantly, she was tired of being forced to follow rules that were unfair. She did not move.
Hey, did you not hear me? We have people with our seats. You need to get up now.
I'm not going to move today. I'm tired.
I don't care. You need to get off that seat at once, or else I will have you arrested.
Then I guess you'll have to do that. I'm not moving. Rosa meant what she said. The bus driver did too. He called the cops and they arrived quickly. They climbed on the bus to confront Rosa.
Ma'am, why won't you just stand up? You know that African American people have to give up their seats to white people.
I don't think I should have to move. The law is so unfair. Why do you push us around?
The law's the law. You're under arrest.
That is when Rosa finally stood up. The police took her off the bus and brought her to jail. The policeman took Rosa off the bus with her hands behind her back. They take her to jail.
Hold this and look forward. I need to take a picture. I'm going to fingerprint you.
Rosa calls Martin Luther King Jr. to come and visit her in jail.
Martin Luther King Jr. was born in Atlanta, Georgia in 1929. His father and his grandfather were Baptist ministers.
When he was a boy, Martin went to a school for black children only. There were certain places he and his brother and sister could not go because of the color of their skin. He wondered why.
Martin grew up to become a Baptist minister like his father and grandfather. He was called the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.
Many people listened to the powerful words of Martin Luther King Jr. He said he had a dream, and his dream helped to change the history of our country. Martin Luther King Jr. lived at a time when there was a need for change. We will see how this dream helped to bring about that change.
Once Dr. King and his friends led 200,000 people on a march in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. It was the biggest public action led by a group of people in the history of our country.
Rosa, what happened?
I got arrested just for sitting near the front of the bus, and I refused to give my seat to some white guy.
I'm sorry that happened. I have an idea. Let's boycott the bus lines.
That would be a great idea, but what do we do?
Tell all your friends not to ride the bus. They must walk or get a ride with someone. The bus company will lose a lot of money. That way, hopefully, we can force the bus lines to change this terrible law.
That'll be fantastic, Martin. I'll tell all my friends.
I assure you, up to it, there'll be a lot of people angry at you, and the newspapers may not be nice, but they'll be right beside you.
Let's do it. Someone has to do something. It has to change. Brothers, this is a peaceful freedom march. The people of our countries will see us and hear our voices.
They will know that we must have new laws, laws that are the same for all people.
We will march to the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. That is a good place to talk about equal rights and freedom.
Let's go.
Sing out freedom.
Even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream. I have a dream that one day the Red Hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream. I have a dream that one day my 4 little children one day will live in a nation where they will be not judged for the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. When we allow freedom to ring from every town and every hamlet, we'll be able to speak up that day when God's children will be able to join hands and sing in the old spiritual free at last, great God Almighty, we are free at last.
We shall overcome. Deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome. Though I join hands so often with students and others behind jail bars singing it, we shall overcome. Sometimes we've had tears in our eyes when we joined together to sing it, but we still decided to sing it. We shall overcome.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
Luther King Jr. was the second black and the youngest man ever to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. In 1964, he was invited to Norway. The world watched as King Olav V of Norway and many other famous people honored Dr. King. They said that he, more than anyone else, had done the most to promote peace in the world. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered a sermon on the night of April 3rd, 1968 at the Bishop Charles Mason Temple in Memphis, Tennessee as a storm raged outside.
I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead. But it really doesn't matter to me now. Because I've been to the mountaintop. And I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place, but I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. And so I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything, and I'm not fearing any man.
Martin Luther King Jr. was killed by an assassin. A man filled with hate took the life of a man who preached love. People around the world wept and mourned the death of Martin Luther King Jr. He died a young man, but his spirit and accomplishments live on today. In his 39 years of life, Martin Luther King changed America's thinking about the human rights of all people.
On April 4th, 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was shot at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. He was rushed to St. Joseph's Hospital, where he died at 7:05 p.m.
I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.